Hey everyone, glad you can join us tonight. My name is Brandon.
I'm Michelle.
This is Michelle. And we've just had some distributors on our team just ask us to do our story. And this is a really tough story to tell. It's a true story. It's a very emotional story with some very lows and some very highs. And we're just going to tell you kind of some really personal, not so comfortable parts of our life that we've gone through, and some very rewarding parts of our life that we've gone through being introduced to It Works and what it's done for our life. So I guess to start out, just maybe want to introduce our family. So we have 3 children. We have
an 18-year-old son that's awesome. He also has some special needs. He has high-functioning autism, and he also has seizure disorder that he takes medicine for. But he is an amazing kid. And we also have 2 daughters. They are the light of our life, and they're 13 and 10 right now.
And our special son, Jaden, he's 18 years old. And so they just are such a joy and such a blessing to us in our life, as most parents feel that their kids are those blessings in their life. So just to tell you a little bit more about ourselves, I am a firefighter. I am a volunteer firefighter for our local city that we live in, and I've been doing that for about 10 years, 10 years. Been doing it. Most firefighters around us are volunteers, and I've enjoyed doing that. And
I have my cosmetology license that I got right out of high school, and I also went to massage therapy school, and I keep up on those licenses as well.
So when I was 15, I started a landscaping company and started to do sprinkler systems, and went that route in life. And growing up, I actually was able to grow up next door to my grandma. The house that my dad grew up in, when I was 3 years old, they built a house in the empty lot next door, and I was able to grow up next to my grandmother, and I helped her rake leaves, and she came and kicked on my window in the basement saying, "Brandon, get up and mow the lawn." And I would say, "I'm tired, I'll do it later." And she would say, "Fine, well, I'm going to go do it myself." And I'd get so mad, and I would go and jump up and hurry and go mow her lawn as I mowed our lawn as well. But it was a blessing being next door to my grandma. And because of living next door to her and seeing what a blessing it was for my dad to be able to take care of her and be there for her, I wanted that same thing for my parents. And so my dream was that I knew a day would come that she would pass away, and that I just always wanted to buy that house and live next to my parents where I could take care of them as they got older. And it seemed that at this time of life, we ended up buying that house. We got into it. We were making really good money in our landscaping company, but we didn't really have the freedom of time.
Yeah, I mean, just what our life looked like was that I felt like a single parent most of the time. Brandon was working himself to death, I felt like, and it was hard. I mean, we were kind of like, I like to say, like, yeah, the people that can buy a boat, but they can never use it. Like, we had enough money to live. We didn't have a big savings account. I mean, when you're self-employed, no one's putting money into a 401k or a retirement fund for you. So that was always a worry for us of, like, how are we going to retire? How are we going to put money away? And so we just never had any freedom. We didn't own our own time. I was running the landscaping company from home, and we definitely had no freedom of time at all.
We were arguing a lot because I was getting up and going to work at 5, 6 in the morning and not coming home till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, because feel like I was building this empire. And I just told Michelle that I don't have a college education. I don't have any of that extra education outside of high school, and so we battled pretty good at times about that. I'm either going to go and, go to college full time and then work full time and you won't see me, or I'm going to go and work this business more than full time to build it so that we can have a future with it. But we definitely didn't have the freedom of time.
No, we definitely didn't. And Brandon, with all of his ideas, he wanted to start the landscaping company, and then he had this other idea to build a little Jamaican restaurant. And so we went ahead and pursued that dream as well, and we built that from the ground up.
Yeah, so we built this little Jamaican restaurant, and right as we started to open the Jamaican restaurant is
when the economy crashed.
Yeah, the economy went down and our whole life switched gears and it changed. We did a lot of work for some contractors, and we were owed over $200,000, and we didn't get paid that money. And I found myself going to all of our suppliers and saying, I don't want to file bankruptcy. I know we can pay this back over time if you can give us time to pay this back. And it seemed that everybody was more than happy to work with us rather than having us file bankruptcy. And at this time we were just barely starting to go into winter, and winter for us means that we're not working and we don't have this, we have to save up money to go through the winter. And I remember that we just barely had enough money to just pay for food and just barely get by. And we just had enough money to give to some of our suppliers just to keep them at bay. And I remember calling the bank, which was Bank of America, and we asked them for our home loan, and we asked them if we could skip 3 months until we start working again. And the girl that I talked to said, yes, you can do that. It's just going to show late on your credit. And I just told them that we can catch up the late fees and the payments when we start working again. And when we started working again, we got the money and we called them to make the payment, and the girl said, I'm sorry, we can't accept any money from you at this time. And we were living in that house that I had dreamed of next to my parents at this time. And I just told them, if I can't make the payment, if you guys won't accept me catching up the mortgage, then we're going to lose the house. And I was just gutted. I was just beside myself, and we were just in this frantic mess. And we found out that me and Michelle had been paying between $800 and maybe $1,400 extra dollars on our house payment for the last 3.5 years. So we had all this equity in the home, and we feel that that's why the bank decided to just keep pushing the foreclosure. And we ended up hiring 2 attorneys to try and save the house, and we owed money to all these other people.
Well, and the lawyers they first said, why don't you just file for bankruptcy? This is what bankruptcy is designed for exactly your situation. You didn't get paid, it's no fault of your own, why don't you just file bankruptcy? And we just didn't really feel right about that. We didn't feel like that was the honest thing to do. We're not saying that bankruptcy is wrong for people to do, but we didn't really feel like that was the right choice for us. And so we were just going to muddle through. And so they said, well, why don't we just have you file the initial bankruptcy petition to put a stay on your house? we can work with the bank some more and try to get them to work with you and try to get you a loan modification. And by then, we didn't need the loan modification. We could have paid for the house, but it was too far in foreclosure. So we did file that bankruptcy petition just to provide us some more time to try to work with the bank, and it ended up not working out. We couldn't get the loan modification. We even tried to get a short sale, and they said no. So this house that Brandon had already always dreamed of living by his parents was slipping away from us. And
I was calling every month trying to catch up our mortgage the whole time up until the day that we lost that house. And me and Michelle were just beside ourselves, wondering what we were going to do with our family and everything. And I remember the day that we hired those 2 lawyers to try and save the house, and they just would not accept any money, and we were holding as much money as we possibly could to catch up all of our payments. And when it wasn't going to work out, we went and took that money and started paying suppliers and not paying them off, but trying to keep people satisfied and at bay. And I remember the day that we were moving, and I remember loading up the trailer, and I had my truck hooked to it, and I remember the repo guy pulled up to repossess my truck. And my employees were out there helping us load up, my landscaping employees. And I remember just walking up to the guy before he said anything in front of my guys and just said, he says, "I'm here to take the truck." And I begged and pleaded with him that we could go to a nearby church in the parking lot, and that I would just meet him there, and that he could take the truck there. And I remember driving over there and then unloading my stuff out of my truck and letting him take my truck, and then calling Michelle and telling her to come and get me, that the truck had been repossessed and that somehow we need to get money over to that and not pay some other people to try and keep them happy, but to get my truck out. And we got the truck out, and we get moved over to
a rental house.
This rental house that was actually a blessing in disguise, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it just kind of fell in our lap, and my work added with the Jerk Shack of every 2 weeks to cut back on labor at that restaurant. I was working 43 hours without sleep, and I was doing that twice a week, and I was living off of energy drinks, just trying to make extra money to make it. And a short time goes by, and the rental house that we're in gets a foreclosure notice on it. And me and Michelle
We're just like, not again.
And
we just couldn't believe it. We're just, and through all this, I can just tell you that it was our faith. It was our faith in God, and just believing that, all the trials and all the adversity that we have to go through in life is really to teach us something. And so all I kept thinking was, let's just learn whatever we have to learn as soon as we can so we can get out of this mess. But it really was our faith that we stayed faithful, we stayed humble, we stayed reliant on God, and we knew that there were somehow brighter days ahead.
The guy our landlord in the house that we were in, he was 13 months behind, and just to get in the house, he raked us over the coals. It was just hell to get into this place, and we had to prove bank statements, and we had our lawyers write letters explaining that it wasn't our fault that we lost the house, that we were owed the money, and also that the bank foreclosed on our house illegally. Mm-hmm. And But our neighbor, which is a lawyer, he actually was able to save this house from going into foreclosure, the rental, and he was able to get a modification worked out for the landlord, and life went on, and we was just killing myself working all these hours, and working 2 43-hour shifts a week, and we decided that an opportunity came along for us we just knew we needed to make more money. We're not going into a lot of detail because of time, you'd be here forever, but it was hard to keep the lights on. We were just constantly trying to keep people at bay in our situation, and we ended up closing down the Jerk Shack, and we opened up a restaurant called Firehouse Burger, a fast food hamburger place, and Michelle was helping run that, and she was helping do Tipton Landscaping.
Yeah, so when we closed the Jerk Shack down, I was like, oh, good. Now I only have one business to focus on and run from home, while Brandon was out in the field and working with, all of our crews and the homeowners and everything, and I was at home doing that. And so we had closed the Jerk Shack down thinking, okay, I'm going to get a little bit of a breather, and then within 3 weeks' time, Brandon comes to me with this opportunity to do Firehouse Burger. And I actually prayed about it and really wanted the answer of don't do it, run away, you don't have to do it. But I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I felt a peaceful feeling, calm feeling, saying like, yeah, it really is what you guys need to do right now. And so here I am running these 2 businesses from home. Just feeling like I'm just surviving life. I mean, just the landscaping was just always, it was just always there. It was just always hard. And I hated Mondays, and I loved Fridays, and I just was sad. I was just frustrated. And Brandon would walk in either with his Firehouse shirt on or his Tipton Landscaping shirt on, and inside I would just cringe, and I would just build up anxiety. And at this time I wasn't a nice person to be around. I wasn't really very, I was short with the kids, I was short with Brandon, and I just felt like there was just no light at the end of the tunnel. Like it was just day to day, just surviving life. And what happened is that I was just going through my news feed on Facebook, and I saw some before and after pictures of the It Works body wrap. And it was my sister's sister-in-law, who I had a relationship of trust with. And she lives out in Florida, and I'm in Utah. And she was posting these pictures of these friends that she had wrapped. And I just could not believe the results of what was happening to these people's skin, and the lifting and tightening and all this. And she had posted a couple more, and by the end of the week, I just made a comment on there, and I said, Christy, what is this wrap, and how can I get it? I just wanted to use that product. And she said, well, I don't know of any distributors in your area. And I just thought, well, okay. She told me it was just a little bit more money to get started as a distributor over being a customer. And I was, obviously, you can see what my life looked like. I was not looking for extra income. I wasn't looking for business. I wasn't looking for something to fill my time. I was already like chaos up to my eyeballs, And so, but something clicked in me, and I wanted to use that wrap so bad. And I knew that if I did, that other people would too. So I became a distributor without telling Brandon. It's only $99 here in the U.S. to join. And so I thought, he won't miss $99. And so I didn't even mention it to him. But I was excited, waiting for my wraps to come in the mail in my kit. And I went out and started showing before and after pictures to people on Facebook and in person.
And 2 weeks late, 2 weeks into her being a distributor, we're at a family party, and someone says, how's that wrap business going? And I looked at Michelle and said, yeah, Michelle, how's that wrap business going? And she looked at me like, oh crap. Me and Michelle, when we first were married, we made a mutual agreement with each other that we were not going to be each other's dream killers. We were going to let reality do that. And as mad as I was at Michelle and the whole situation, I didn't say anything because I did not believe that the average person could make money in a company like this. And I did not believe that natural products like this even worked. And I was losing my partner in crime that was supposed to be helping me try and get back on her feet. And I needed her help to run Firehouse Burger and to also run the landscaping. And I could just tell that she was not a happy person, and I was not a happy person with the amount of hours and time
Stress.
that I was working these jobs, and we were just barely keeping things afloat between the two incomes of these things.
But what happened is that I got really excited and I started wrapping people, and people started jumping on board as customers and distributors, and within 3.5 months I reached a level called Diamond. And one thing I love about the company is that they are debt free. I didn't know how important that was when I joined, but in 2008, when our economy was on the worst downward spiral ever, It Works became debt free. And so the year that I started, they came out with these get out of debt bonuses. And so I was running towards Diamond and earning a $10,000 get out of debt bonus. And I had a few more team members to get in this week before I had to promote. And I made a list and I scheduled those appointments and I went out and I did it, and I reached Diamond and earned a $10,000 get out of debt bonus. And still at this time, I still was just having fun. Like, yeah, the money was great and everything, but I still was just having fun and checking off those goals and filling those charts and just running with how much fun and how much happier I was doing this over the landscaping and over Firehouse. And so I was now working on Double Diamond, and I actually reached Double Diamond within 5 months of joining this company. The average monthly income in US dollars is $6,000 a month. And I remember exactly where we were when I reached Double Diamond and got the phone call. And I was in tears walking over to Brandon and saying, like, I am at Double Diamond. And I knew at that time that this was the answer to all of our prayers. I knew that I would keep going with this, that I had found my true passion and purpose in life. I knew that I was meant to be a It Works distributor. I knew that I was meant to be a leader with this company. And I looked at Brandon and said, this is going to be the answer to all of our debt. Like, I know it. I feel it inside. And it was the answer. And so I had this goal of going to Triple Diamond. And so by the time I reached Triple Diamond, all this time I was begging Brandon, can we please close Firehouse down?
So we decided to close Firehouse down. There was just different times of different employees that were stealing money from us. Me and Michelle were working so many hours down there, and It Works was making more money, and so much less time had to go into working It Works than what we were putting in down at Firehouse. And so it just made more sense to not deal with the problems of employees stealing money and some lying on their time cards and doing that. And we just got rid of Firehouse, and Michelle started doing It Works full time. And I noticed such a difference in Michelle of how happy she is. And as a man, it's hard to see the challenges and heartache that you know that your family's going through because of your situation. And when we got into this rental house, I found myself standing over my kids at night while they were sleeping, and I was apologizing to them that I had to work so many hours, and that Michelle had to work so many hours. And I apologized to them for this life that I had provided for them as their father. And even though my mind told me that it's not your fault, you weren't paid so much money, and our savings account was just completely depleted, trying to keep people at bay. My heart ached for my family, and I found myself that I couldn't sleep a lot of nights, and I would wander the house and stand over their beds while they slept and apologize to them because of how hard it was on my family. And it hurt to see how hard it was on Michelle. And I noticed that difference when It Works came around. She just seemed like a completely different person. There started to be a feeling of hope in the air around.
Yeah, and I knew it was the answer. Like, I just knew that I was meant to do it, and how passionate I had become about it, and I wanted to help people. I knew that our products worked and that they were changing people's lives, and to be able to work with other women and to inspire them and lead them. And I think there's just so much negativity in our world today, and especially women sort of feeling like in competition with each other. And so what we have at It Works and what we create in our team is women inspiring, and I mean, we have men too on our teams and everything, but
Don't forget about me.
you know, we have all these women who are lifting and encouraging and cheering each other on, and I had just never felt more filled up. You know, when you have an sort of like your heart and your mind are empty, you can't give to anyone. You don't have much to give to your husband or your kids or your, you know, anywhere that you are, your friends. Like, it's hard to be that when you feel like you're in the negative, and It Works completely came along and it literally saved me. It saved me from feeling like I'm just stuck forever. Like, I just have to run our landscaping company and do this food business, and this is just all there is for me, you know. And we just always have to do, you just have to do whatever you have to do until something else comes along. And I felt the same way. I mean, with network marketing, we live in Utah. I don't know if any of you guys know, but network marketing is like, there's a new company starting here, like It Works, every day. And Brandon and I always just felt like, these don't work for the average person. People can't make real money unless they're business minded, or they're super smart, or they're lucky, or whatever. And so I didn't care. Once I saw what this wrap could do, I didn't care. I knew that everyone would want it, and I didn't care what kind of company it was. And I'm just so glad that I just jumped on board with this and ran with it and worked fast. I worked fast and built up those levels fast, and I reached triple diamond in 9 months' time. And it was just unreal. I mean, our income now, we're making 5 figures a month from home, from It Works.
Which brought a completely different feel to our life and the marriage, and we were able to kind of start getting on our feet a little bit and paying some suppliers and taxes and all sorts of stuff and just keeping people happier. And it just was a completely different feel. And I started gaining a testimony of the company. I started noticing the wraps were really, they worked on Michelle. I saw my sisters that got wrapped and saw their results. I decided to wrap, and I started really gaining a testimony of these products. And I started getting excited about it too, and the money was real. And I started seeing other women on our team that I feel that everybody has a similar story to us. It may not be where they lose a house, but it may be where paying for diapers and that they're living paycheck to paycheck, or those things, money is just a struggle for so many people. And it was awesome to watch these other women make money. And so we were getting excited seeing other women that were paying off credit card debt and doing those things. And then we were feeling like there's this light at the end of the tunnel. And then we get this notice placed on our door that this rental house that we're in is going into foreclosure again. And we were not late on our payments, and they were on time. And we talked to our landlord, and he said, I don't know why that this is happening. I've been making my payments, which we knew wasn't true. But we didn't have anything else we could do. We had to keep paying him so that we can prove that we were making our payment on time for our credit. And we ended up talking to him, and me and Michelle just had to keep making our payments. We put the deposit of like $5,000 or $6,000 down to be here, plus a first and last month's rent. We knew we were going to lose all of that. And we had to pay this guy every month on time, knowing that he wasn't paying.
Yeah, that he was pocketing the money.
That he was pocketing the money. So now we're trying to figure out where to live with our family and what we're going to do. And we had started signing up a team in New Zealand through Facebook and through social media. And there was just something inside me that just said that we really needed to go there. And before we decided to go there, me and Michelle were looking for houses to buy. We didn't know if it was possible.
Well, we had to. We had no option. We had a deadline that we
or to
knew.
rent, but we didn't know that we could buy. The law said 7 years, and we had not lost our house for 7 years. And we went and looked at this one home together, and as we walked through it, it was pretty close to our dream home. There were a few things that we would live with, but it was pretty close to our dream home.
Well, and nothing that we ever thought was possible, and nothing that would have been possible without our It Works income, without that business.
So we started trying to get a loan on this house, and we didn't know if we could get approved or not. And we decided that we needed to go to New Zealand and build our team with It Works. And we went over there for 5 weeks and worked, and the whole time we didn't hear anything, but we just felt like that our way out of this mess was really going to be through It Works. And when we came home, our house was getting foreclosed on. We were getting kicked out of this house 2.5 weeks after being home, and we didn't know where we were going to live. And just to back up a little bit, Christmas Eve, we got a nice letter on the door. No, we got a hand-delivered message saying on Christmas Eve that you have exactly 3 months to be out. And so we came home and didn't know where we were going to live, what we were going to do. And they changed some laws just right in the nick of time. And we barely could qualify if we could come up with a very large down payment that we would be able to qualify for this house. And me and Michelle looked at what we were making with It Works, and we said, you know what, I think that we can do this. And we have been saving our money, and right now we are in contract for this dream home. And I have been able to be home more because of It Works than I ever have. I now get home, I'm still landscaping, but only half days. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to come home to this cute thing right here. And to spend more time with my family and my children. And what a blessing we feel it's been from God that this It Works opportunity came our way. And we have a closing date. And we are in this filming right now in this rental house that is foreclosed on. We were able to do a month to month. And we just got a phone call yesterday telling us that they're going to come and put a for sale sign in the yard in 3 days. And we will be able to come up with the money because of It Works and move into our dream home and know that we have a secure place for our family. So in doing this video, what is the point and why are we going into detail these events that have taken place in our life? I feel that this message that we have been sharing in this story is a story of hope. I think that a lot of people identify with this story because they've gone through similar things in their lives. And as me and Michelle were going through these awesome
learning experiences,
events in our life, we were praying. We were praying to God for relief and a way to be rescued from these events. It was a hell in our life to work that many hours and to just go through the things that we did to just survive life. And when It Works came about and we started doing this business, Michelle really saw something in it before I did. And then I caught the vision of it. And me and Michelle decided to make this a defining moment in our life. We wanted to do something that would rewrite the current pages and chapters of this book that we were writing in our life. We believe that we are the authors of our own lives. And depending on the decisions that we make and the sacrifices that we endure, then we can rewrite, and we are the authors of our life. And so me and Michelle decided to make this It Works opportunity a defining moment that we just said one day we will look back on what we were doing in this company and we will be so glad. And it has allowed us more of that freedom of time. And time is something that you will never get back. And it is a priceless thing. And I love being here with my family more. And feeling that weight lifted off of my chest. The other night, Michelle was just talking to some team members of hers. And we both kind of got emotional talking about where we have been in this company and the blessings that it has provided for us, and we know that it was sent to us from God. And me and Michelle were just some sobbing mess, and we're wiping each other's faces off and hugging each other, and our cup just felt so full because of the relief that it had offered us. We haven't gone into a lot of detail of what really happened to us over the course of the 4 or 5 years. But as we sat there and held each other and just embraced each other, Michelle just felt like that she wanted to write down some of those thoughts that she had in that moment, and we just thought it would be an appropriate thing to share with you guys her feelings that she had.
So, yeah, I'm just going to read this because I just wrote it down and I just want to get it right to how I felt at that time. So I said, with It Works, I can work from home or anywhere else for that matter. I can spend more time with my family. I can set my own hours and achieve dreams I never thought possible before. I can work my business when I want to and be there for all the special family memories that I would miss in a regular 9-to-5 job. I can also invite others to come on this journey with me. I think honestly that has been one of the most rewarding parts of this whole thing, is to watch someone start this business and to see them grow and develop into an amazing person, into an amazing leader. It's inspiring and it's so fulfilling to be a part of. I get emotional when I think of my team members that are all over this world and what they all mean to me. We are truly in this together. We are rewriting our own stories into ones we can be proud of. The It Works way is one of fun, friendship, and freedom. It's more than wraps. It's more than products. It's more than money. It's truly a way of life and a chance to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, to be a part of something great. And you know, there's just so much negative in this world, and I've learned that negativity, while it is normal, it's meant to be mastered and conquered. And because of It Works Global, I am doing that, and it feels great.
We're glad that you guys have taken a moment of your time to sit down and let us relive.
Now a happy ending to the story.
Relive our adventure. And thanks for coming on this adventure with us tonight. We do care about our team. and we care about the people that are a part of our lives. And we truly have felt blessed to watch them rewrite their own stories and see some of the same relief come to them in their lives that has been a heaven sent and a blessing. Thanks for joining us tonight on our fun adventure